Hi, I'm Ayleen, and together with my teammate Madhav, we've been looking into the plastic pollution problem for the past 7 or so weeks. And it's definitely been a really interesting journey. We spent hours in meetings, we've been conducting research, trying to essentially crack this almost impossible problem of plastic pollution. And yet, after looking at things a bit deeper, we were surprised to find that many organizations aren't tackling this problem in the right way. And now you might be thinking this sounds strange coming from a high school student, but after speaking with many experts and getting their insight on the issue, we've discovered that organizations have only been focusing on these surface level symptoms, which might seem to be important right now, but they don't really matter in the long run. So to give some more context, I thought I'd share with you 3 different examples of various solutions in the plastic pollution problem that we've been able to invalidate so far. So let's take a closer look at the solution of cleaning up our oceans. From the 275 million tons of plastic waste generated each year, only 1.1 million tons ends up in surface waters, which is where our ocean cleanup efforts are generally focused. That's only 0.4% of all plastic waste generated. And even if we could somehow overcome this barrier of removing all the surface level plastic waste, more and more would just keep flowing in. So we'd be wasting time and money trying to solve this never-ending problem. And ocean cleanups aren't the only ineffective solution that we've been able to identify so far. Incineration and gasification are methods of converting waste to energy, and these seem to be really promising areas of a really promising solution, but they require really high initial investment costs of tens of millions of dollars to build the plants. And these plants would need to run for decades before they become profitable. And as incineration is getting more widely adopted, this is actually going to cause a diversion of the investment away from recycling, even though recycling has been proven to be a more environmentally friendly and just overall better long-term solution. And everyone's probably heard about stores switching over to paper bags or cotton bags, but I doubt that you've heard that you would need to reuse a cotton tote bag a total of 20,000 times to reach the same environmental impact as a regular plastic bag. And that's because there's a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, there's a lot of water that goes into the cultivation of cotton and the creation of the bag itself. That makes it actually even worse for the environment than a regular plastic bag. And given that alternatives are a lot more expensive and that they just don't seem to be the most efficient solution of implementing things, we were able to identify that this solution isn't really the best way to go about this problem. And so after we discovered that all these solutions we've invalidated, we wanted to do something about it. We wanted to create a way for us to communicate with organizations and show them what we think they should be working on. And so the Plastic Shift was born. The Plastic Shift is an online resource that we've developed to help organizations, impact investors, and anyone else working in the plastic pollution space discover what are the effective and what are the ineffective solutions to this problem. For the sake of time, I won't be showing the website, but here are some screenshots on the different types of resources that we've created so far. So first of all, we've been making these blog posts, which are super data-driven, like information-heavy pieces of writing. These are on the specific aspects of the solution that we've been able to invalidate so far. So like you can see on the slides, we have chemical recycling, we have alternative plastics, we have waste management in developing countries. And these sorts of topics, we show sort of our steps that we went through towards invalidation using a lot of numbers and data. And this is just for general context on the issue. We've also been conducting various case studies on companies and organizations that we've looked into a little bit further. So these sorts of case studies act as a way for us to inspire organizations on what we think they should be doing, and it's their way of seeing what it looks like when we can actually implement a solution. So if they see that a particular organization did really well with this specific solution, then they can see, oh, how can I implement this for ourselves? Perhaps one of my most favorite parts of this project so far was the development of a podcast that we've been speaking with various experts from fields all across the world as well. And so essentially what the podcast is a way for us to learn about these very unique experiences that are coming from people who have a really big level of expertise in their particular industry. So we've spoken to professors, we've spoken to people within organizations, we've spoken to researchers, and it's our way of getting this information out to people from the perspective of experts. And so finally, what we've been doing is we've been compiling all of this research into this huge manifesto type document that we've created. And this is sort of like a compilation of everything we've been doing so far. And it acts as a guidebook that we're going to be giving to NGOs and impact investors and all sorts of companies working on plastic pollution. What we did was we broke down the problem into these 8 main ideas, and we gave specific action items for NGOs. So this acts sort of like a recommendation for what we think the best next steps are. And so some of our next steps for this project is that tomorrow we're going to be sending out the manifesto to a bunch of NGOs, and we're also going to be continuing with content creation. One of the leading organizations in plastic pollution, the Plastic Bank, already expressed interest in using our content to share within their organization and externally. So we want to continue making these podcasts. We have a lot of podcast calls lined up, and we want to continue with the creation of these blog posts and case studies that we've been building so far. And so it's been a really exciting journey to have gone through the whole process of creating the plastic shift and making an impact on a problem that both Madhav and I are really, really passionate about. So thank you so much to all of you for listening. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to email us.
Awesome. Thank you, Ayleen. One thing that I really loved about this project was throughout the past 7-8 weeks, they had a very strong focus on the problem. How do we just make an impact on the problem? So they didn't fall in love with any particular technology, or they didn't get too focused on like one solution, but they really talked to people and understood, okay, what does the world need right now to make an impact? So great job, guys.